Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Pete Funk. Thinking right in my living room in the wee hours of the morning, where I do what I do for you. Today, writers in 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message, message is a story for life. I give you life lessons. You tuning in and receiving them. I'm loving it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go. Right thinkers mission, and I hope I'm doing it right, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Hope you're getting it. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That should be the goal of all my right thinkers. That's the mission of me giving you these right thinking concepts for you to know yourself. And this is the question you got to ask. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not but knows that they know not is simple. Teach them. I do what I do for you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believe that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them with spiritual enlightenment. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. I can wake you up. I have knowledge of self that can do just that. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my art, be true. Always. You need to have balance in your life. It's all about that. That's the first lesson you should learn as a right thinker. Balance. Okay? If not, let's give you some right now. I got a nice little lesson for you today. Right thinkers, let's talk about self-discipline versus spiritual discipline. Well, it's a little different. Just a little different. The self, remember, I, me, that guy, that's his discipline. If you use that, you're gonna be your life will be full of feathers. I will break that down to you. But if you employ spiritual discipline and what right thing it teaches you, you'll be right where I need you to be. Check out your boy. Watch this. Let me break it down for you. Let's start with self discipline. Self discipline is just that. You have your own discipline. You're taught early life what to do, what not to do. You hold yourself accountable, okay, to do those things, be they right or wrong. You have self discipline. You start to learn what you can and cannot do, what you should and should not do. Self discipline. Self, aka, remember, I, me, dun 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 dun, ego. It has its own ideas, okay, called serving self. Remember, we're dealing with self discipline. Only thing self discipline knows is self. It may be disciplined to a degree, but its whole goal is to what? Serve self. Hence, self discipline. Watch this. Self discipline is what we use to live by. Yeah, that's our lower nature. That unenlightened self. That just me, I tell young men, when you learn to live above your waist, I tell you, right thinking starts from the neck up. I don't need the body. Why? Spirit don't need body. Physical body needs the body. Okay? Human beings need the body. Spiritual need the body to just survive in. But next level, no male or female. Dun dun dun. No sex, no. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sex is for the flesh. Let's move on. Self wants that pleasure. That's self-discipline. He gonna want what he want, or she gonna want what she want. Your job is to use the spiritual discipline to defeat that. That's why self versus spiritual. Let's go. Self discipline is not self enlightenment. The self needs to be what? Awakened to itself. If it don't know itself, it's gonna do what it think it should do, and that's serve itself. It's not awakened to the higher self. Hell, get it? Self discipline will only take you so far. Without self knowledge, right thinking philosophy, you will not become an enlightened being if you just serving yourself. If you follow religion, most of you guys are self-serving. Why? Because you think it's all about you. You perpetrate like you're serving somebody, but you're really serving you. That's self. Trust me. Self-discipline, watch this, is what you use to think you know yourself. That self, that's the mind game. If you want to know yourself, you will have to use spiritual discipline daily. Self discipline won't get you there. It won't raise you to the level of awakening or enlightenment that you need spiritually. Self is just that. Self discipline is what will drive you to do what? You, yourself. Hence, ego. And if you're successful with that concept and that way of life, you won't care about the spiritual side. Why? You're working with the self. Self is paying off. The ego is driving you to be successful. So you ain't worried about the higher self. Why? You living the good life with the spirit, with the physical and the self. You happy with that. Good job. My self discipline, all right, watch this. Teaches me on, and keeps me on my grind trying to do me on a regular basis. Self is what drives you to do you. Boom, boom. Yeah. And if you're successful at it, that's as far as you're going to go. You're not going to raise to the next level. Right thinking takes you to the next level. My self-discipline is what helps me defeat my own self. When you going against yourself, that's you against yourself. And the idea is to wake up and realize that and put yourself in check. Defeat the ego self. If the ego self, which is the self-discipline, if they're in control, you're not going to make it. When your self-discipline wants to better you, wants to do what it wants to do, it's not going to better itself. It's going to do just what it wants to do. Keep you at that level where it's pleased because it's happy. It don't care about your spiritual self. Now, watch this. Spiritual discipline is learned, watch this, and then applied daily. You live it, you make a way of life, like right thinking, and watch this. I learned and mastered my spiritual knowledge, aka spiritual discipline. Those are your higher conscious laws that you live by. I hold myself to a higher standard than the normal. Why? Because if I'm just doing self, that's self-serving. I got a higher spiritual level. Spiritual discipline is learned, so what? You can use it along with your self-discipline. See, it'll work with the self, but it's going to take the higher discipline. Why? It's more spiritual. That's where self falls short. Spiritual discipline is what? Advanced self-discipline. You learn to do better and you implement it. That's spiritual discipline. I live by my spiritual discipline daily. Why? I hold myself to a higher standard of pleasing my higher self, aka God. I control that. I have the power to dictate how I serve my higher self. Spiritual discipline is what? Living Mayat, aka right thinking philosophy, aka doing the right thing, a la Spike Lee. But the right thing is for you, whatever that is for you, that's what you do. That's right thinking. It's free to choose and pick what you think is best for you. Doing the wrong thing, that ain't smart, okay? It's gonna hurt yourself. That's fetish. Next one is right thinking philosophy is mastering your spiritual discipline and using it daily as a way of life, aka Mayat. And you have a set of rules and principles that governs you, not commandments. It's easier to please yourself when you feel what you need to do. I live by my spiritual discipline daily because what is pleasing to God, my higher self, who I aspire to keep happy, not my lower self. Young man, if you think it's the way to go, sooner or later you're gonna find that out to be not true. I got a joke for you, but right now at the time. All right, listen. I'm God conscious. That's spiritual discipline at its best. I walk it, I talk it, I live it. I don't turn it off. Why? It's a way of life. Thinking right is like breathing for me now. That's all I do. Breathe and think right. Those two things, yin and yang, they go together for me. All right. God is spirit. So spiritual discipline, aka is what? God discipline. Living righteous, living virtuous, doing the right thing giving, selfless service, all those things fall under the heading of spiritual discipline. If I was self-disciplined, I would do none of those things because it ain't self-serving. Spiritual is serving others than yourself. When you master both self and spiritual disciplines, you're an enlightened being. Guess what? You're a right thinker. Once you master those concepts for yourself, that puts you at another level where now you and God communicate on a whole nother level. You listen, he's talking. All you got to do is do it. If you practice, watch this, spiritual discipline daily, you will get better, guaranteed. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Last one, I'm about to wrap it up, and I appreciate you tuning in. See, personally, right thinking, I use both self-discipline and spiritual discipline. They both work hand in hand. If you just have one without the other, it ain't so good. But when you put them two together, heart, mind, coherence, again, same thing. It's the same thing. It's just conceptually different, but it's the same thing. Remember NIMS? Remember Nim? Remember NIM? Homonyms. A bunch of different things, but mean the same. Sorry. Self-discipline is good, but you need knowledge of self to make it work for you. Hence, spiritual discipline. They go together. Self-discipline, again, without spiritual discipline, again, is only half the battle. You don't want to go into battle with only half your armor. Suit up, head to toe, cover yourself, strap it on. When I played football, I wore every piece of equipment that I needed to protect myself. Why? That's what it's made for. Okay? When I played, I wore a horse collar, I had forearm pads. Why? I'm blocking, I'm tackling, I'm playing football. Just like I played the position of quarterback. Now it's a whole entity. I was a player. I did the gauntlet. I did the crash dummy drill. I did the nutcracker. All of that. As a football player, you played the game. Now, I'm a quarterback. I don't do that. Sorry about that. Get back over. Why did I get to football? All right, I'm about to wrap up. Here you go. Self-discipline is for yourself. Spiritual discipline is for your higher self. Makes sense? I hope it do. I hope you can conceive that concept. Here you go again. Self-discipline, yang. Spiritual discipline, yang. They go together, but they never cross each other. They both just work together, but they never cross that line. They don't intersect, okay? Last one. Right thinking philosophy teaches you how to master them both, like I did. Do it for yourself. I'll be back. I got more for you.